Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Weeknights. I am JD, aka He Who Pods. Glasses on today, so also rearview mirror.
Why are you giggling so hard? What's going on? What tickled you?
I was laughing at what we said right before we recorded.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm Dash.
Oh, okay, just dash today. All right, got it.
I'm a little under the weather, but I'm here.
Man, tell me about it. The weather
What's
is jacking us up, man. Even
the
people I
weather?
know who don't have allergies and stuff are like, "Yo, my eyes are mad itchy, man. I don't know what's going on." I'm like, "Yeah, the weather. That's what's going on."
Yeah, the pollen count
It's
is
not
really
it's not
high.
supposed to be 80 right now.
Well, yeah, but it also is allergy season, so it's uh it's rough out there right now. It's
Yep.
pollen flying around everywhere.
Oh, yep.
But
All
no,
over.
it is not supposed to be 80 degrees. You
Nope.
know, I I don't know. I don't know what to say about that at this point. Happens every year. I feel like most years anyway.
Right.
So
Well,
yeah.
we spoke about what. Now let's speak about when.
Okay.
When is the name of Alex Isley's new EP. And we heard it. We listened. All right. It came out April 18th. And it is 6 songs. And I'm going to make a confession. This is only like the second Alex Isley project I've listened to from start to finish.
Hmm.
And I definitely need to listen to more Alex Isley projects from start to finish.
You should.
Yeah. So I listened to this one. And what's the other one I listened to? Let me see. I listened to a while ago I listened to I Left My Heart in Ladera.
What piqued your interest?
About what? Her or this project?
Yeah, Alex Isley.
You're a fan of her. You've spoken to me about her. They speak about her on a podcast I listen to, and they've played music from her over there as well. So I was like, all right, I got to give her a shot. So I did listen to those. I did listen to I Left My Heart in Ladera a while ago, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not really a project of just her. It's her and Terrace Martin. So it's kind of not a full Alex Isley project. And there's like a bunch of covers up there. So I was like, I got to hear more original music with just her.
Yeah.
So this was that. When is a project of just Alex Isley and original music. Tell us about your Alex Isley fandom and how you felt about this project.
So, um, I think I've mentioned it on here before. I don't listen to it too much now, so I don't want to lie. But there is a podcast called The Friend Zone that I listened to religiously for years. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the segments on the podcast is Listens Lately. And the three hosts would talk about different things that they're listening to. They would actually sit there. I mean, I imagine they weren't on camera, but they would sit there and like go through their Spotify recent listens or their Apple recent listens or wherever they were listening, and look through and say, "Hey, I this is actually how I've found out about multiple artists that I know about now that I didn't know about then. Like Flo Milli is
Mm.
one of them. Didn't know anything about her. Light skin Keisha, her name." But artists like that I just weren't on my radar. Alex Isley is one of them. Where she wasn't on my radar. She's a bit more my speed than the other two people I just noted, but um, yeah. So I give a lot of credit to them for sharing the music they listen to. One of them is really big into music and creating music, so Actually, a couple of them are. Um, so they're music lovers like you and myself. So it just I always felt like their recommendations were solid. You know, even if it wasn't something that I'd normally listen to, they kind of opened my eyes up to something interesting. So I'm
That's good.
always yeah, I'm always down to listen to something. Maybe I don't go back to it. That's fine, but I think that's part of being a music lover. I think you have to be open to all genres, all different types of artists, and
Hmm.
doesn't mean that you're going to like all of them, but at the very least, you have an appreciation for interesting music. So that's how I got into Alex Isley. I can't say that I'm like fully immersed into her entire catalog, but
Okay.
what I have heard of hers has always been great. I think she makes beautiful music. Um, and this project was no different. Um, it was just pretty from the beginning.
Mm.
When you hear that first set of chords, I was like, ooh, you feel like you're floating. She makes that music that makes you feel like you're levitating. Um, I don't have any complaints about this.
Okay.
Um, I'm sure that will surprise some people, but I don't have any complaints about this. Not even a small one. Um, I loved, I loved every moment of this. I thought it was beautiful. She makes music that sounds pretty.
Hmm.
Um, I felt like some of it resonated with me as well. Hands really stood out to me. Fool's Gold. I love the I'm gonna sound like you for a second. I love the instrumentation and the arrangement of Fool's Gold. Um,
Yeah.
that was really that kept I was like, let me listen to this again. And in fact, when
Hmm.
we got on, that's what I was listening to.
Hmm.
Um, and then I also, I mean, not to tell on myself, but what is the song? Is it the last song that I feel like was super relatable? Um, Thank you for a lovely time. I was like, this is relatable content. I don't
Best
know.
song on the project.
I don't know if I should admit that it's relatable content, but it is. Um,
Best song on the project, in my opinion.
it's a great song. It's a great song.
I feel like she left the best for last.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like for me, it's a toss up between that and Fool's Gold.
Okay.
Yeah. What did you
All
think?
right.
Well,
I
we know what your best song on the project is.
Oh yeah, that was my favorite one. But I like the entire project. Um, yeah, Thank You for a Lovely Time is my favorite. And then after that, maybe Mrs. Goody Two Shoes,
Okay.
maybe Fool's Gold. I like them both pretty much like neck and neck. They're like right there.
Yeah.
But I liked all the songs on this project. If I gotta choose a least favorite, it's the beginning song.
Hmm.
The oohs are cool, but they get annoying after a while.
That's fair.
Yeah. Like I've listened to the project 3 times at this point. I don't need to hear oohs anymore. I know that's my fault for listening to it 3 times, but I like to really listen and, dive into the music. So I've listened to it quite a few times. I listened to it twice back to back
Mhm.
over the weekend. And then today I felt like, all right, we're gonna pod about it. Let me get a refresher.
Do you think that people don't appreciate intros the way they used to?
I don't think this was an intro, but um I think the love of intros left a long time ago. I don't think we get bangers as intros very often today. The last one that's notable is Dreams and Nightmares, probably. That's everyone's favorite intro today. I really like
It's not my favorite
Fab.
intro.
Huh?
I said it's not my favorite intro.
Yeah, mine either. Dynasty. Come on.
Don't
Um,
steal my favorite intro. That's what I was
that's
about to
that's
say.
that's our generation's favorite intro.
Yeah, but I wish I would have said it first because now they're gonna think that I stole your answer, and that was true. I was
That's
just about to
that's
say
our whole
Dynasty is
generation. Our
my.
whole generation, that is the intro. Just like for the next generation, those behind us, is Dreams and Nightmares.
I don't even make the sound. I never make the sound right, but you know, y'all know how it sounds. Y'all know how it starts. The Dynasty niggas, as promised. Whatever that is too
Na na
good.
na 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 na.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
intro of the century.
But
I mean,
I
I'm
really
sure there's other
like
comparable
Fab and
intros.
Jada. Nightmare on Elm Street or whatever. What's their, you know, the one, the Freddie and Jason project. Um I think that's what it's called. I always forget what they call it because they had to change the name from the original name.
Oh
But
my
that
gosh.
intro is really good.
Sorry.
Okay.
Talk about a bugaboo, okay? I just got a phone call, right? The person hangs up, leaves a message, and then calls back.
That's OD.
I bet you they'll call a third time. And then I'm going to
It's
go.
not hot when you be tripping me on my best friend's block,
We gotta bring
and it's
back
not hot.
ringtones. Caller tone. No, caller tones was the other thing. Ringtones. Personalized ringtones. Anyway, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry to interrupt you, but this is a bit obnoxious.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think the Fab and Jada intro is cool. I really like that intro. They did a great job. But I don't think people focus too much on intros today. I think track one is kind of just track one to a lot of people. I don't think the dominant intro is a thing anymore. I think that died a long time ago.
I think you're probably right. The reason why I asked that is I do not think that the first song is an intro. However, I think it functions as one.
I
Um
think it depends on the
and
project.
Sure, but specifically you said you noted when I asked you the question, you said this, you didn't think this was an intro. And I think you're right. It's not an intro. It wasn't created as an intro. It would say if it was an intro, and it doesn't. However, I think it functions as one. I think that, you know, there is some intentionality in the way you arrange music
Right.
when you put a body of work together. And it's not lost on me that it starts very soft and very sweet, and the chords come in, and
Right.
there's, like you said, there's oohs, and you don't really get to the words for a while.
Sure.
I think that being the first track is intentional. So, and
Yeah, of course.
maybe I'm overthinking that. I don't know, but it feels
No,
like
I
it was
agree.
intentional. So
Yeah.
to me, it functioned more like an intro. In fact, I didn't even realize that it was a full song when I first listened to it.
But if you swap the first song and the last song on this project, you could argue the same thing.
Sure, but
It's just about the way she composed the song.
of course, but that's why I say I think it functions as an intro, even if it's not, even if that wasn't the way the song was written, because of the way the
Mhm.
song is arranged. You
Yeah.
can use it as an intro, is what I'm saying. But
Sure.
yeah, I asked that because I'm just like, does it matter to people? I think it matters to me. I think I appreciate it when it's there,
Hmm.
or I appreciate when I hear something from the beginning and I can tell that the people who created it um, were thoughtful about putting that particular thing in the beginning. Because I think sometimes you can tell. Maybe not
Yeah, I think the way
always.
you start your project matters. I think it sets the tone for everything that's coming after. But I think the hot intro, quote unquote, is different than just putting a song that
Yeah,
sets the tone.
it is different. Absolutely.
Kind of like when somebody gets on stage and they engage with the audience before the show starts.
Yeah.
It's not really their first song. They're
Mm.
just giving you a little something to start the show. So, in other news, this weird thing happened, and you brought it to my attention. Uh, Let me make sure I quote this correctly. Um, there's a lab tech saying that. Oh, okay, his name is here. Good. Um, I'm shocked to say this, but this comes from the Shade Room. Lab tech Ryan L. Hassani just dropped bombshell evidence at a medical conference claiming Elizabeth Holmes research was sound. Now he's got a Just Blood campaign, and rappers like Jim Jones, Jadakiss, Fabulous, and Trinidad James are involved. And so he's basically at this conference saying that everything Elizabeth Holmes' company, Theranos, uh, said that their machines could do, can do. They can do it. And there were performances at this conference by the artist named. Um, so this is a weird science, news, music conversation. Uh, and so you brought it to my attention. We, for those who don't know, we are very interested in Elizabeth Holmes and all things Elizabeth Holmes.
Yeah.
And so this was very interesting to me. And obviously to you, that's why you shared it with me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say a couple things here. One, I'm glad he's saying that it's cool and that it's true, but I'm gonna need a little bit more than one lab tech to show us this. Maybe some kind of peer-reviewed system,
Mm-hmm.
because we saw the documentaries about how Elizabeth Holmes was fudging information, straight up lying to people, etc. That's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is I was not at the conference. But the music that we do see in these clips, no one is saying Elizabeth Holmes' name. No one is saying free Elizabeth Holmes. No one is saying I stand with Elizabeth Holmes. They're just rapping and saying free people in jail, free people who have been wrongly accused, free the people who shouldn't be in jail.
Right.
I don't think these artists are standing with Elizabeth Holmes. I think these artists saw the opportunity for a check, got the check, and gave a little quick performance. I don't think these rappers are united in pushing the freedom of Elizabeth Holmes. My opinion, again, I was not at the conference. So if they did say that, cool, y'all can let us know. Put the link to that video in the comments. But
Yeah.
I didn't see any evidence in these clips that they're riding with Elizabeth Holmes. So I think rappers just saw the opportunity to get a check and was like, all right, let me get that check.
I can see that. I can see that. I also feel like I don't think that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought with Elizabeth Holmes, what it is it wasn't necessarily that her research was wrong. It was that she bit off more than she could chew, to the point where then she had to start fudging information. She had to start fudging data and whatnot. But originally, in the beginning, as she started, she was on the right path. She was on a path that was taking her to where she was trying to go. Like, it just derailed when they started to see dollar signs, and they started to see, potential partnerships with big pharma and whatnot, and they wanted to capitalize. When I say they, I'm talking about her and, were they married? I can't remember. Her and what's his name? I don't remember his name. Sonny. Her man. Yeah, so I mean, we don't need to get into all of the specifics of the case, but I was thinking about that, and I was like, well, okay, I hear what this person is saying, but also I don't think anyone ever felt like she was incapable or she was on the wrong path to what she was trying to achieve, up until the point where things start getting messy. They start lying. They start fudging data. People come to inspect, and they're like, oh, yeah, everything's right here, when everything is not. You know what I mean? So
Well,
I
in the
thought that
beginning,
was...
she had. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I thought that was what it was.
In the
So
beginning,
this
yes.
would check out? By,
No. In the beginning, she had a hypothesis, a theory, an aim of where she was trying to go. She was
yeah.
able to get funding, and people were like, man, if you can make that happen, that would be great. But the if never really got to the proof that was needed because all of
Okay.
this funding started coming in.
Yeah.
Then it was about we got to do this fast, 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 fast. And then it was all right, we're going to skim off the top. We're going to change some results.
They were
We're going to
cutting
use
corners.
machines that are not even ours and say our machines did it.
Right.
So, yeah, it became this big fraudulent thing, especially when they had the Walgreens contract or whatever pharmacy company it was. They were just
I think the
doing
CVS.
whatever with people's results. CVS, there you go.
Yeah.
They were just doing whatever with people's blood work, straight up lying and doing fraudulent things. So it started on the right path, but just like many Star Wars Sith stories, it quickly went to the dark side.
Yeah. That's a good way to sum it up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't have an opinion on whether she should get out of prison or not. That I don't. I just don't. But whatever happens, whatever will be, will be.
And what do you think
Um,
about the MCs, the rappers who are quote unquote standing with her?
oh, that's what I was saying. I don't really think it's that deep, and I think
Okay.
sometimes people cling on to something that seems like it aligns with their cause, or just, or it doesn't even need to be that. It doesn't even need to be that deep. It could be as simple as this thing is popular or this seems like something people will be talking about, so I'm going to align myself with this. So I don't know how deep into Elizabeth Holmes these people really are.
Okay.
I think she's fascinating.
Right. We definitely do.
Yeah, definitely. I think she's fascinating. But
For those who don't know,
no, don't tell them. If you don't know, go do your research. Um but if you know, you know.
right?
So anyway, um yeah, so I think that, you know, this is my turtleneck.
Right. Gotta have a turtleneck. You're not actually wearing the wrong color.
I know I'm wearing the
You gotta
wrong
have a
color.
black turtleneck on.
You always the black turtleneck.
Yeah. Anyway,
Um
you've got our last topic.
all right, so I'm not even gonna find the video for you. I'm just gonna explain the situation to you, and then maybe I should find the video, but I'll explain while I look for it.
Okay.
I might have even saved it just on some. Maybe I'll share this with my co-host.
Share with the
So
class.
yeah. So all right. Every now and again we do a little "Am I the asshole?" or one of these things, and I just thought that this is yet another TikTok scenario.
Okay.
Um.
Let's do it. The last one was interesting. Let me
Yeah.
sit up.
So
Let me sit up for this one.
I thought you might enjoy this one. So I came across a video with a gentleman who was talking about the fact that um, his friend had went on a date, and he felt that and the woman's friends showed up to the date, although I don't believe that the man actually knew this until the friends video went viral.
All right.
So
Play the video.
so he wait, I can't even find it. Let me type it in and see. But basically, a woman was going on a date with a guy,
Yeah.
and her friends knew that she was going on the date.
Hmm.
Woman goes on the date, minding her business on the date with the guy, and her friends decide they've got nothing better to do. So they're gonna go and spy on the date. So they go, like, two giggling girls, and they find where their friend is. I guess she had told them where she was, or, you know, I know people like to share their locations with their friends, so I honestly don't recall if it was that or if she told them or if they even said. They go, they find her. They go and they sit at the bar. They knew where she was. They realized she was on they were on the wrong floor. So they go, like, they make an effort to find what floor she's on. They spot her. The woman and her date do not see them. But they sit
Okay.
at the bar again. They're giggling, laughing. They're having a blast, just playing this whole thing out. They get drinks, whatever. They're there. They're taking video. So they're taking video of this man and their friend, unbeknownst to the pair, and they decide they're going to send over a drink to their friend who doesn't know they're there. But they're not going to send drinks to the table. They're only going to send drinks to their friend, to give the impression that another man sent a drink to their friend. This is what they said they were doing. So so the waitress or the waiter grabs the drink. They take it over there, and now the guy is, like, upset, according to what they shared after. The guy is upset because he's, or rather disturbed. Who's playing with me? Like, I'm here on this date. I'm sitting here with a woman. You don't know what my situation is, yet you're sending her a drink. I can understand how a man or a woman would be confused or perturbed by it. Like, I wouldn't necessarily be mad. I wouldn't be mad at my date because they received a drink from someone else that's not of their own making. But I would probably be like, oh, okay, well, y'all don't see we're on a date. You know, something more along those lines.
Right.
I mean, and if they send drinks to both of us, I would be like, well, then, look at us getting drinks for free, you know, whatever. So, as I said, to back up, the way I came across this was because there was a guy who is saying that he's this man's friend, and, you know, he felt like it was messed up what her friends did. And so he was complaining, and he's like, you know, this is why women remain single. Like, you got to be careful with your friends, because people were basically saying, him included, were saying that they didn't have her best interest at heart. And they were just, you know, clowning around, when this actually could have been a connection between these two people. We don't know if there was a connection, nothing like that. But it has started to trend on TikTok. The women have responded. The friends basically said they don't feel bad about it. What they feel bad about is showing the man's face, because he didn't ask to be filmed. But they do not feel bad about what they did. There's also a video with the two women and the woman who was on the date, where they're all giggling and laughing and saying, oh, it's all good. Y'all, she said, y'all saying my friends don't care about me. Y'all can't take a joke, you know, hardy har har har. So she didn't have a problem with it. She felt like, oh, it was funny, and, you know, her friends were just, you know, doing what women do, and, you know, and a lot of the reaction which they were co-signing was, oh, well, you know, things we do to men, that sort of thing. Like, kind of like, well, men deserve, you know. And I just kind of felt like, oh, is this what the people are doing out in the streets? I mean, my friends are at home, you know, raising children and tending to their lives. So, just not all of them, but, like, the tending to their lives was for anyone else who is not currently raising children. But I say that to say, like, well, we don't got time for shit like that. To
Nope.
No one is looking to do anything like that. Also, maybe it's because we're old. I later
Mhm.
found out that these women are in their late 20s. I mean, I know you do stupid stuff when you're in your 20s sometimes, but I also feel like 28 is a decent age for you to know that you don't need to crash your friend's date. But she didn't seem to mind. So maybe it's a moot point. Maybe we shouldn't even be talking about this. I don't know, but it offended, obviously it offended the man and his friend. People are saying that as far as the friend goes, why is the friend speaking and the man is not speaking? My guess is he's grown too. You know what I mean? My guess is maybe he's mature and they're not. But what do you think about this? Because I was like, are people really doing this? Is this, do you think you're going to be successful at finding men? Do you think men are going to want to go on dates with you? Because your digital footprint exists. People can find it
Yeah.
unbeknownst to you,
Yeah.
especially a video that's trending.
Very easy.
I don't know, and maybe it's not that deep, right? Like the world
Oh,
is,
I totally think it's deep.
well, I'm just saying, like, the world, I was going to say the world is big, and maybe the way people see it is, oh, this is one guy, and the odds of all the men I encounter seeing it, unlikely. I don't know. That's a question, not really a solid statement
Um,
there.
well, when you go to the circus, usually a bunch of clowns come out of the tiny car together. And these clowns clearly roll together. And that's fine. Birds of a feather flock together. So if these corny, young minded, immature, inconsiderate clowns
Mm-hmm.
think that nothing is wrong with what they did, then that's fine. But if a man did this same thing, he would be getting dragged all over the internet for it. If I was on a date and two of
Mm-hmm.
my boys showed up and did this same thing to a woman, oh man, forget about it. We'd all be canceled. We'd be the scum of the earth and nothing would be funny.
Mm-hmm.
This is a problem. The second thing is people want to walk around saying that there's piss and shit in the dating pool. Well, even when you're trying to show up to a date
There is.
and mind your business, look what you
Excuse
have
my
to
broke down
endure.
glasses.
Huh?
I said, excuse my broke down glasses.
Look what you have to endure because bitches are immature. My problem is there are lots of double standards and everyone wants to complain. But let's look in the mirror and ask about our own behavior. Have I seen these three women? No. Have I seen this video? No. Do I know if these women specifically are complaining about the dating pool? No. But what I can say is there's just such a lack of consideration of other people in dating today that is gross on all sides. And why am I saying that? Because we have two extremes that get a lot of talking time on the internet. We got the women who say men ain't shit, and we got the men who say women ain't shit. And the women who want the 6'5" man who makes 100 figures or he's a bum ass nigga, and then the guys who say if women ain't got the not possible body and don't weigh a certain thing and all this other bullshit, they ain't shit. We got these two extremes, but what happens is there's this big group in the middle who's unspoken for. And some of those people
Mm-hmm.
in the middle are just going on dates and trying to live their life, and trash ass stuff is happening to them. I
Well,
think
no, go ahead.
I think he should sue them for defamation. Even if he makes no money, the video should be pulled down and they should have some kind of punishment. Why? Because you are filming a person without their permission, number one. Number two, you are embarrassing this man all over the internet when he did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. He showed up for a date and did what he was supposed to do based on your story. And here you are choosing to, one, be a loser ass person and follow your friend. Who the hell is doing that? And two, manipulate this man. Manipulation. Manipulate this man who just trying to show up on a date and do the right thing. So now you've embarrassed the man who was trying to take out your friend, pay for your friend to have a good time. Why? What did this man do to you? Nothing. Nothing. And these lonely booger bear bitches always want to act up. Why? 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 What is the reason for this? What is the why?
But okay, how do
Nah,
you?
because if a man did this, it would be the end of the world. Let's be honest.
Okay, I just want to be clear about something too. The people in the middle were sounding off as well, and I, I consider myself one of the people in the middle, as you discussed. I don't agree with this by any means. I don't think this is what makes you a girl's girl, or I don't. I don't even like saying that. I don't even like using those words because I feel like anyway, doesn't matter. The point is, for me, is that I think on all sides it ends up making things look worse than they are, because if people think that this is a representation of how women who are serious or want to be taken seriously behave, then they're doing those women a disservice.
Yeah, because all three of them
Um,
are trash.
so so that frustrates me because I hear what you're saying about, men and whatnot, but it also puts, women who are serious in a precarious place if
Yeah,
this is this is something that is happening. Now, I don't know how
yeah,
frequently this happens. I also want to give space to there is a world where, and some people said this, there is a world where you do go to check up on your friend at the date, but you don't do what they did. Now, I'm not saying that's something I do or have ever done, but I've heard people before say, "Oh, we're just gonna for safety reasons, like we're just gonna go sit at the bar. Y'all have y'all date, and then when if you once you guys part ways or whatever, we'll meet up or something like that." Or we'll just stick around until you give us the signal, you send us a text or something and say, "I'm good, you guys can leave." I have heard people say that they've done things like this. I think that's not a big deal because the person you're on a date with has no idea. Also, they're not doing nonsense. It's just, I'm just here to make sure you're safe. Personally, I don't want people on my date. I've never gotten the urge to have people sit around nearby to watch me on my date or to be. I'm a grown woman, and I don't I don't. No, thank you. I'm not. If I feel unsafe, um, especially in a restaurant or a place like that, there are
plenty of
there are
exits.
usually options in a public place if I feel unsafe. Um, I don't want to get too far into that because everybody's situations and circumstances are different. Um, this was just weird to me. This was very, like you said, young minded. And they were actually like
They doubled
scratching
down.
scratching back at people who were like, this is corny and this is immature.
Grow the
And
fuck up.
but there were also people who were saying the same thing, like, oh, somebody said, God forbid women have a good time. And I was like, is that what this is? Okay.
at the expense of a man. But if it was the other way around, what would happen?
I think all of it would be wrong.
And going on a date is the good time, right? Like going on the date is supposed to be the good time, not you manipulating a man and playing with a man's emotions. Not that's not supposed to be the good time.
And
Because
especially
when
if,
men manipulate women, it goes viral for the other reasons. We're pieces of shit. We're worthless. We're why you shouldn't be dating. Stop.
yeah, and I don't think a lot of people are encouraging these women. I don't think there are that many people saying, "Oh, y'all are good. Like y'all didn't do anything wrong." I think there are an ample amount of people who reacted to this and were like, "This is shady."
It's corny.
Also, one of the things that a common theme, and there's actually a lot of videos of people stitching this and giving their opinion, but a common theme is people saying those people are not your friends.
No.
If they're gonna do that without your knowledge and ruin your date, if you will, or make for a difficult date, why would you want them to be friends? Like it's almost like, do they not want to see you succeed with a man?
Right.
Which is a whole other thing.
Because misery loves company.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I happened to come across, I didn't realize at the time, but I happened to come across another video a couple days later. And I realized that it was one of the women who did the spying. She seems very intelligent and very very put together in her normal life. I was like, then why would you do this? Why would you do this? Because I wouldn't have expected that, and maybe I'm getting into respectability politics here, but I was just like, oh, what, you you did this? Why? What do you have to gain from this?
They did it because there's no consequence. That's why. There's nothing that's gonna happen to these women. And that's why I said I wish he could sue them.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Because
Yeah.
if three men did this to a woman, it'd be the end of the world. They'd be quote unquote canceled. Fuck them.
Okay. On
Yeah.
that note, I did find the video, but I think at this point we don't need it.
You can send it to me. We'll use it for other stuff.
All right, sounds good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Weeknights. Thank you for being here, watching, reviewing. Let us know your thoughts on corny bitches. And we'll see you
Well,
tomorrow.
okay, wait. You threw around a lot of bitches this episode. Oof.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Bye.